Good afternoon and welcome to this council meeting of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich for May 10th, 2023. The Leafs are playing tonight, so we're going to move this right along so everybody can get home and watch. Clerk Tara, if you can get us started, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the meeting of the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich opens at 5:00 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
Does anyone have a declaration of pecuniary interest?
I'm going to declare item number 5 on the agenda, the Dutton Dunwich West Elgin Community Fund. I'm director on the committee.
Okay. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of draft minutes. They were forwarded to council. Is there any amendments to the minutes? Seeing none. And number 4 was a review of items not listed on the agenda. Clerk Tara, is there anything?
There's nothing further.
Thank you. Number 5, a delegation. We have the West Elgin Community Fund. Bonnie Rowe and Anne Marie, are you participating? Come on up.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Hope you correct the mayor, but it's Dutton Dunwich West Elgin Community Fund. Just so you know.
My paper says West Elgin.
Oh, does it? Well, there you go. I have some slides to just make it a little less boring. I'll see if you can each take one of these and yes. So thanks for letting us have a few minutes of your time. I really want to stay within my 10 minutes. I want to be blamed for missing the hockey game. We just wanted to update council on the Dutton Dunwich West Elgin Community Fund. To new members of council, and so we're taking time to let you know about it. So you know I'm Bonnie, and Anne Marie is also a committee member of the Community Fund, and Henry, of course, is a member of the Community Fund Steering Committee as well. So on slide 2, I'll start with a bit of history about the Community Fund. Back in early 2020, Terry Carroll made a presentation to this council in West Elgin. He was the executive director of the Elgin St. Thomas Community Foundation at the time. And he brought a delegation regarding the possibility of starting up a local community fund. And he explained that the foundation had worked with caring individuals since 2003. So it is a 20-year-old organization this year. And they assist people to create lasting legacies within Elgin County. So what happens is donor dollars are invested in an endowment fund, and the interest that is generated is granted out each year to charitable organizations within Elgin County. So he explained at that time that a local community fund would be dedicated to supporting our local areas. So in other words, a community fund is like a charity for charities. So at that time, both West Elgin and Dutton Dunwich were on board with this idea, and they agreed to be qualified donees to a local community fund. And we'll talk a bit about what that means in a few minutes. So a community steering committee was struck, and I was on West Elgin Council at the time, so I volunteered to help get the fund started. And this council appointed Trish Cornell, and so she was one of the first members of the steering committee. So we were assisted by staff and board members from the foundation in St. Thomas, and we did have a board member sit in on our meetings for the first year or two to just give us a good start. We got a number of educational sessions and added a few more community members to the committee. So the community fund is an arm of the foundation. And on that handout, it kind of explains the relationship that we have with the foundation. They basically manage our assets, issue tax receipts to donors, help donors if they want to create a specific named fund. And then they support our local steering committee. And each year, once grants are issued, our local committee decides on those recipients. And then the foundation communicates with them to. There, okay. Sorry about that. So then they communicate with the grant recipients and issue grant funds. So at the bottom of the handout is the current steering committee. And at the beginning, by the beginning of 2021, we'd kind of established an early communications plan to raise local awareness, and we had planned a founding donor campaign. So on the next slide, the very first fund was donated in memory of Norma McMillan. And I know that many of you here will know Norma McMillan. She was a very strong community person, a very well-known philanthropist in the area. And after she passed away, her nieces and nephews created this fund in her memory. So that was a really great kickoff to our fund. And this is the first public awareness brochure, and we circulated it to every household in the two communities. And so as a next step to educate our communities and give our fund a good start, we felt that a founding donor campaign would be important. And Jerry Galbraith was the very able chair of that campaign. So then on the next slide, over the course of 18 months in 2021 and 22, members of the steering committee contacted many of our community members directly and just to describe the fund primarily and ask if they would be interested in being a founding donor. So we were really pleased with the community response to that. People were very generous. You might have seen some of these I support photos. We use social media to try and increase awareness. By the end of the campaign, we'd given our new community fund an excellent start. So over 90 families had donated over $70,000. I think we're not quite on the right slide. If you can go to slide 4, I think we're up there. So in addition to on slide 5, in addition to the Norma McMillan Fund, we were already really pleased to receive 2 other family funds, the Galbraith Family Fund and the Fred and Joanne Grock Fund. So in total, we're pleased to have a community fund that to date has grown to over $190,000. Only the interest earned on these funds is granted back into the community. So these funds will have an impact on Dutton Dunwich and West Elgin forever. On the next slide, in the fall of 2021, we were able to award our first series of grants totaling $4,350. And so with the assistance of the foundation, in the fall of each year, a grant call goes out to all charities that work within these communities. And the steering committee reviews grant applications and decides on recipients. So that year, 4 organizations received grant funds, and they are listed here. The West Elgin Daffodil Food Bank received $1,500 to help them buy a cooler. They were finding that people wanted to donate fresh produce, and the community gardens was producing fresh produce, and that was a way to keep it fresh for their clients. The West Elgin Dramatic Society received $825 to help them purchase a new digital sound system, and I think they're still saving for that, from what I understand. Pierce Williams Summer Camp got $825, and that was to help low-income children from our area go to their camps. And the Dutton fundraisers collaborated with the municipality of Dutton Dunwich, and they received $1,200 to reduce fundraising expenses for their annual comedy event. And that event raises money for clients in our area that need transportation to the women's shelter. And you probably know that that event didn't happen last year because they didn't feel ready that people would be coming just as a tail end of the pandemic. And so it is being held this weekend. So as the fundraisers is not a registered charity, that was an opportunity for your municipality to support the community fund by being a qualified donee. So any registered Canadian municipality can be a qualified donee, and both Dutton Dunwich and West Elgin have agreed to assist in that way. So how it works is an organization, likely a nonprofit, would approach the municipality with a project in mind. And if the municipality feels that it has merit, they would support the project by just letting on the application form, there's a way to include the municipality. And so they give their official request to that grant application. And if that application is successful, the funds are moved to that organization through the municipality. So that's what a qualified donee is. And then the grant recipients, of course, report back to the foundation and the community fund on how those funds were used. So the next slide has the photos of those 4 groups receiving their checks. And you can see that we gave Henry the rowdiest group to present to. And then on the next slide, again in the fall, last fall, we extended another grant call. And although we only received 2 applications, we were happy to donate $1,000 to the Bacchus Page House Museum to help purchase a people mover to help people with disabilities tour their facilities. And also the West Elgin Community Health Center received $4,700 to rebuild their community gardens in West Lorne and Rodney so that people could grow their own fresh produce. And they do find that those folks also donate to the 2 food banks in the area as well. So the next slide, as our community fund continues to grow, we'll be carrying out other awareness events. We were at the fair this year and at the RCMP musical ride, just to try and raise awareness and ensure that people know how to support the community through this fund. And we've recently made visits to all the charities in the area because we felt that with 2 applications last fall, we needed to make sure everybody was aware they could apply, and certainly some weren't. So that was a good outreach. And we're speaking with other nonprofits in the area about the possibility of working through the municipality to apply. So we will continue to encourage and assist potential donors to make donations. Obviously, that is something that we will want to continue to grow, and we'll be offering grants every fall. So that is what I wanted to share with you. We'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from council?
I think your municipality has been the only one so far that's participated in the qualified donee process, and it worked fine. So
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie.
that.
Thank you, Anne Marie, for your presentation,
All righty.
and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Take care.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 6, our Public Works Department, and I'm going to start off with Murray is here. You have some introductions to make, Murray.
So
Nope.
they haven't threatened to quit this week, so I think we're good.
Thank you and welcome to the team. at Dutton Dunwich. And council, do you know these gentlemen? Matt and Brad?
So I'll run around, but yeah.
Okay.
You guys.
And we'll carry on with the Manager Roads and Facilities Monthly Report. Council had the report over the weekend. Is there any questions now that we have Murray sitting here?
Just a comment.
Councilor Dreyfus.
Overlooking the report there, we have parks and facilities in the report. I'm just wondering if there would be a benefit to breaking that out into a separate report.
Yeah.
It's different than roads and all the maintenance that's going on, and also Gerald and Dan are on different projects. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if we could do that, as well as we're going to come to our recreation, and maybe we could tie it into,
Yeah.
if the council's in agreement with that, if we could tie it all into one report. And it would maybe give us a better overview of what's going on.
That,
So,
yeah.
If that's possible.
That's our plan for next meeting, is to tie it in with the rec administrator, because it ties in with the rentals and what the guys are doing. So just so that's not, like you say, it's two different kind of categories, even though they all report to Murray, but it's just different. So we'll get the road stuff and tiling, ditching, drainage on one, and then what's going on with the parks and facilities on the other, and make it a little easier to read. So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Anything else from council? Councilor Drulard.
For you. So I did contact Murray here about a week ago, and we're having our adventures, tearing up the intersections again down on Willie Road. Again, Saturday night. Yeah, but you guys were out already and fixed it, so appreciate that. But anyhow, we're trying to keep our eye out for you, and if we do happen to get a plate, we will pass it along to you. The other thing, just in this report, which is actually in the parks and facilities part of the report, is the car charging station. I've been at a couple of events there. I'm wondering if we need to mark it somehow, because I'm noticing that it's not accessible to EVs because others are, and I mean, it's just habit. They don't know, whatever. They might not even know what it's for. If there's a potential to even paint mark it, so that.
There is, and that's a valid point. Councilor Dreyfus was kind enough to loan us a template. So we're going to paint the parking areas green and then have the highlighted white car charger on each parking spot. And we're also going to install the parking blocks back again so the vehicles don't strike the wall or the chargers. We had to remove them at the time of construction, and now we're going to put them back. It's just, we were kind of waiting until the pavement's nice and warm, and we're in the painting mode, because our painter that will do the white is also the same painter that does all our stop blocks. So we need to get our intersections all swept and everything else. And spring of the year is not the time to try to do that with all the farm traffic. Guys with this shiny green paint and red paint, they get upset when they have white paint on top of it. So we'll kind of hold on. It might be a little bit before we get that in, but our long-term plan is we will paint the parking spots. We'll differentiate them with lines that we painted green, and then the white highlighted charger.
Thanks, Murray. I appreciate that.
Councilor Pemberton.
Yeah, not with your report, Murray, just curious. The temporary speed bumps that were installed last year, are they coming back soon?
Sorry, having a little technology difficulties here. Tara's used to it. I usually have to call her to help me with this stuff, but yes, they will be going back. We're currently the full crew between fixing tile drains, which keeps Brent happy, and trying to get the back roads graded. We're actually grading shoulders currently, so we've got 2 guys out doing that. But as soon as we get a chance, yes, we will be putting, and we actually have 5 extra sets this year to be scattered around a little bit more. We're getting comments both ways. I've had a couple phone calls where don't put that anywhere near my house again. And then I've had ones that by all means throw it in front of my place because I'm sick and tired of having people race by my house. So when we get to that point, we will be putting them all back out with, like I say, 5 extra sets. Kind of a criteria, we kind of go with their longer stretches of roads, and we like to put them where there's a street light to help give it a bit of backlight so that the traveling public can see them a little bit better. So that's kind of, if somebody questions why it's in front of my house and not in front of my neighbor's house, if you get those questions, that's why I try to go underneath street lights or as close as possible as I can.
Anything further from council? You have anything to add to your report, Murray?
Well, I believe Tracy's going to address this maybe with the tender that we received. That was the one thing that comment on. The other thing is you saw that I did include it in here is we started graveling. Johnson Brothers will be we did the Hill Street with our own trucks because it's just not possible to do with the transports. Johnson Brothers will be starting Monday on our gravel contract for starting roads. We'll kind of have to wait and play it by ear as to Friday where we're at, as to which road we're exactly going to start on. It'll depend on the condition of the road underneath it. And then Brian will be starting right after that. I'm sure maybe you've gotten the odd phone call about dust complaints. I know I have. But already, yes. Anything we've touched has gone dusty. And it's just, way life is. It's Mother Nature at her finest. So nobody likes brine, but we're going to start that, and it'll be starting with the gravel. We'll be putting a bit of brine down on every road that we gravel every night. Just it helps tie the fines in, makes the gravel stay on the road where we want it, and it'll pack in a lot nicer with a bit of brine on it every night. So the brine truck will also be starting next week as well.
Okay, thank you, Murray. Just a question. Are the summer students, have they started?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, they have. We've got 3 hard workers. From what I've seen of them, they always got something in their hands and it's not their phone. So that's a good thing. We've had them on basically green space cleanups so far. Did put one on a mower for a little shot today for a little bit. They are lacking in experience. They're students. I think all of them are fully capable of being able to adapt. They'll probably be doing better than what I would at some point in time here right shortly, but they have started. So they, like I say, seem to be a great group so far. No complaints whatsoever. They've been running around there and it's tiring watching them at times. But, and then I guess while I've got the floor too, one other thing, mower wise, we are looking, instead of going with the side boom mower that we've always gone with, the disc style mower, we're actually looking, we've talked to our neighbors and we've talked to MCON. They run what's called a batwing mower, which is a more heavy duty type of mower. A little bit more money. I believe my budget was 25,000. So far, we haven't gone to tender, but just talking with dealers, just kind of getting quotes, it's around 27,000. And it will mow approximately 12 feet at a pass versus our normal 8 to 9 feet, depending on which mower it is, the 6 disc or the 7 disc. They can, on the county roads, they work in conjunction with each other, and then they can divide and conquer, because there's going to be some spots that the batwing can work fine. There's going to be some spots that the side disc mower is the only way to go. But it's a lot more. Well, West Elgin's, I believe they said they purchased their batwing in, when the heck did Lee say, 2012, 2013, and it is still going strong. So they are a much more robust unit. So yes, it's more money to buy it, but we're not replacing it every 3 years, which is about the lifespan of a disc mower. They're meant to cut hay fields and nice grass, which we never do. We're always cutting in the roadsides. So that was the one thing that we are going to put the tender out. I'm going to work with Charlotte, but we'll get a tender out because of the dollar amount we have to tender for that. Right now, I think there's only probably about 2 different companies that would be putting a tender in. And either one would be fully acceptable as a vendor for us.
Okay, thank you, Murray. Anything further from council? I just have a comment that Marg Hulls has a shopping list at the Buttermilk Bog. I know Councillor Dreyfus was included on that. If you could steer the students in that direction when you have time, Marg would much appreciate it.
I will take that under advisement.
Can you get them to count the trees while you're out there?
Pardon me?
Can you get them to count the trees while you're out there?
Count the trees.
If they belong to the municipality, I have to count them.
Marg knows how many.
Is there a criteria as to what size constitutes a tree?
No.
Yes, well, with Dan taking over the Parks and Rec and that kind of thing, that's more his bailiwick, but I will steer him in that direction. I'm sure he will love the opportunity to work at the Buttermilk Bog
With Marg.
with Marg.
Thank you for that. Okay, nothing further from council? Thank you, Murray, for sticking around.
Thanks for making my team feel welcome. That was much appreciated. That's I've been here since 2000, and I think that's the first time someone has been interested in meeting. So that's kind of nice. It's nice to feel that we're all part of the same team. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but this is a nice change. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We are a team. Thank you, Murray. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drulard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the Manager of Roads and Facilities titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023, for information. All in favor? And that's carried. Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the Water Operations Manager titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023, for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Yeah, I guess I have a couple of concerns I think we'd like to talk about tonight. Not so much with the report, but we've been looking at our overcapacity flows during wet seasons, and I did get the information from the system we have that monitors all that, but I don't really, not qualified to understand it. I think we really need to be looking at talking to an engineering firm that specializes in that work to have a look at where that surface water is coming, even with when we get a new plant, because we really shouldn't be paying to treat rainwater. So I guess if I was making a recommendation, I think Aqua have a division that can do that sort of work for us. And I think that it would be money well spent to have a look at that. So I would make a resolution that we contact Aqua to get a price on having a look at that.
Can you get a second or?
I'll second that.
Clerk Moore, did you put something together and we'll just carry on here? We'll deal with that in a minute.
One more thing. I really think we should also pass a resolution requiring our engineer Dillons to come down and have a little talk with us and where we are with the with both Tracy's asset management plan and the sewage treatment plan. I know she's been working, trying to get them to respond, but they've been pretty slow. So I think it's time that council gets involved and requests them to come down and have a talk with us.
I'm going to let CAO Tracy respond to that.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I did finally have a meeting with Bram last week, and he was gonna send it back to his planner for a couple more revisions and updates for the cost and everything, and he was gonna get back to us within the next week or so. So, and I told him that we would like a presentation to council. So I've already put that bug in his ear. I did have a meeting with the asset management people today. It was supposed to be a workshop, but none of the guys could make it, so it ended up just being the financial part of it. So I've reached out to them because I had to get an extension on the FCM grant, obviously. So I sent the timeline to Catherine. I haven't heard back on when they think they're gonna be done this. But I think she knows it needs to be sooner or later, especially after my discussion today about the finances and where we're at. So I can get council those answers, and I can get them both here to do. I did tell the asset management group that I do want them to come and do a presentation workshop to council on this asset management plan. So the bug is in both their ears, so I can get you back to you on those timelines for sure.
I would stress that they attend the second meeting in May. And I also, it's public that we're 137% of capacity. And I'd like the public to be assured that we're doing everything right, that our effluent and everything is still meeting ministry guidelines. So I've asked Archie just for an update. When that happens, what happens? Where does it go? So hopefully next week our next meeting will have an answer to that question. And so the public is reassured that we're not doing anything to the environment. Anything further from council?
Well, and through you, Mr. Mayor, and I did question Bram on these, if the ministry gets wind of these capacities and us being over so much, like he said, we're okay because we have started the process of fixing this, but we don't want it, like Ken says, we don't want it to go we got to get this taken care of sooner than later, even though the ministry knows we're taking steps to fix it. There has to be an end in sight. So we do need to know these dates for sure.
Just a quick question.
Go ahead.
Mayor Hens, with previous council, was there any design system was there any suggestions made by Dylan at all of design or cost recommendations at all, or?
I'll let Deputy Mayor Loveland answer that. He's been involved right from the get-go on this one.
Yeah, they have done some preliminary work on what we need, and it's going to be done in phases. I think the price that was and it's just a really rough price because they're still finalizing what we need to do, but it was, I think, in the neighborhood of 9 million if my memory serves me correct. So it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but it's some new technology as well. And again, just build on what the mayor said. Yes, we are over capacity, but we're treating a lot of rainwater, which isn't very difficult to treat.
No. Yeah.
Anything further? Councillor Drouillard.
And just to clarify that, Ken, because we get this in the monthly, does it hold any weight that we're tracking it when it's heavy rain weather, that's when we're over capacity? Does that have some bearing on how the ministry will look at that?
Our operator has to report that to the ministry, so they're well aware of where we are with everything. So it's not they're not jumping up and down on us yet, but we need to get moving on it for sure.
Anything further? Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the wastewater operator titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information, and that council instructs staff to contact the Ontario Clean Water Agency for a price to investigate the source of the surface water infiltrating the wastewater system, and that council directs staff to invite Dillon Consulting to attend a meeting to provide an update on the wastewater treatment plant. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you for pulling that together. Number 9 is the building department. Is there any comments, questions from council on that report? I see none. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Loveland, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the chief building official titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
And we have the fire department, the fire chief monthly report. Does council have anything to question or add to that? I see nothing. Clerk Tara.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drouillard, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the fire department titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, we're down to number 11, drainage department. Brent, you are up. We'll start with his monthly report that everyone has had a chance to look at. Is there any questions you have of Brent on that report? I don't see any. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Pemberton, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the drainage superintendent titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. And now, and our time is good. We have a quarter revision scheduled for 5:30. And it's 5:35. And go ahead, Clerk Chair.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Dreyfus, that the council meeting ends to sit as a court of revision for the Dunwich Dutton School Drain and Gordon Campbell Drain at 5:35 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried. And moved by Loveland, seconded by Drouillard, that the meeting of the Court of Revision to hold a public meeting for the Dunwich Dutton School Drain and Gordon Campbell Drain opens at 5:36 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
Are there any amendments to the previous Court of Revision meeting minutes? See none?
Yes, on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, all parties required to be notified under Section 46 of the Drainage Act were sent by regular mail or emailed a copy of the provisional bylaw with a notice of the sitting of this Court of Revision. This notice also informed all landowners of the Drainage Act requirement to notify the clerk in writing of an appeal to the Court of Revision 10 days before the first sitting of the Court of Revision. No. Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Pemberton, that the Court of Revision accepts the assessment for the Dunwich Dutton School Drain. All in favor? And that's carried.
Land or road should have been assessed but was not. Due consideration has not been given to the land's use. I would ask that any landowner and interested properties present that are assessed to this drain, please sign the attendance sheet that is being circulated. Again, no one attending virtually or. Was everyone notified in an appropriate way that are required to be notified under the Drainage Act?
Yes, on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, all parties required to be notified under Section 46 of the Drainage Act were sent by regular mail or email a copy of the provisional bylaw with a notice of the sitting of this Court of Revision. This notice also informed all landowners that the Drainage Act requirement to notify the clerk in writing of an appeal to the Court of Revision 10 days before the first sitting of the Court of Revision.
Did the clerk receive any appeals in writing 10 days prior to this sitting of this Court of Revision from any assessed landowners?
No.
Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Dryfoot, that the Court of Revision accepts the assessment for the Gordon Campbell drain. All in favor? And that's carried.
And do we have one to back?
We have two.
Okay. Thank you.
Moved by Dryfout, seconded by Loveland, that the meeting of the Court of Revision for the Dunwich Dutton School Drain and Gordon Campbell Drain closes at 5:40 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried. And moved by Pemberton, seconded by Dryfout, that the council meeting, that the regular meeting reconvenes at 5:41 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
I know council may be aware of this, but Brent took the time with Marg out there. I appreciate that. You know, that's her passion. So all the trees are going to be protected.
Yes, through you, Mayor, the rest of council, that's part of the tender package is their support.
Thank you for that. Anything further from council? Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drulard, that council award GW Clark Drainage Contractors Limited the contract for the construction of the Dunwich Dutton School Drain in the amount of $109,700 plus HST, and further that council instructs the mayor and clerk to sign the contract and forward a copy to the contractor. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, we're going to do the tender results of the Gordon Campbell drain. Brent, do you want to speak to that?
A red light on. Through you, Mayor, and to the rest of council, yeah, we were fortunate again to have the low bid came in less than the engineer's estimate. So everybody will be saving money, including the municipality, for $190. So
It all helps. Council, any questions from Brent or for Brent? See none, Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dryfout, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich award Gillier Construction Incorporated the contract for the construction of the Gordon Campbell Drain in the amount of $67,500 plus HST, and further that council instructs the mayor and clerk to sign the contract and forward a copy to the contractor. All in favor? And that's carried.
To receive the engineer's report on the Allen McCall.
Yep, and just, I want to make one more comment back on the tenders. You'll notice in the last 4 tenders that have come in that we now have basically 3 new contractors that are aggressively bidding, as well as the 3 we had before. So potentially we could have upwards of 6 bids now, with Gillier and GW Clark have been aggressive, and McNally's looking too. The Gordon Campbell and Alan McCollum and Gordon Campbell drain, we've received that report. If you look through it, it's a fairly costly drain to construct, but pretty near 2/3 of that is requirements of MTO. Also, this will be a project that'll be tendered in 2 tenders. That is because working within the MTO right away, we have to have a MTO qualified contractor to do that work. And then the tile portion that'll be done after we're out of the right away will be tendered separately. And there'll be timeframes in there, and then the tile will be done by most likely one of our regular tile contractors that bid for drains. No time frame on when this will be done. That'll all be determined by the tenders. The reason for going with June 14th for the meeting to consider, the Gilroy drain will be submitted by the engineer next week, and then we will do 2 meetings to consider on the 14th of June, trying to use our engineering time efficiently and our quarter revision time efficiently. But tenders will be ready to go out and circulated on the 15th of June if the provisional bylaw is passed.
Anything from council? I have one question. Will we tender this in 2 parts, the MTO part and then the private landowners part?
Yes, that'll be through you, Mayor, and the rest of council. That is the way it'll be tendered. It'll be tendered out for the MTO section to be done, and they'll have a time frame to meet. And then the contractors that'll be bidding on the tile portion and the private lands and crossing Pioneer Line will have a time frame that they won't be able to commence work until after a certain date. We've done something similar to exactly the same on a drain crossing in Southold. We have a bore under the 401 that's waiting for a contractor to show up in about a month and a half, I guess, is the last I talked to him. So the bore was done in effect pretty near 8 months before the tile was to be built. So hopefully things will go faster on this project than that, but circumstances were such, so.
And the MTO portion has to be done first.
Yes, that's the outlet. And for clarification too, one of the things that MTO asked for, you'll notice on the report, it's the Allen McCollum drain and the Gordon Little drain. So in an effort for efficiency, MTO has asked for 1 pipe crossing across the MTO off-ramp, the westbound off-ramp. So we're digging out the 2 existing Gordon Little drain crossings, and the engineer has designed a pipe to go under the off-ramp that'll be equivalent of a I think he said it was a 2-year storm. They'll all be combined. Then the Gordon Little drain will then start at the Allen McCollum drain. The people on the Gordon Little drain are not assessed any of these costs for that improvement because it's all MTO driven, and MTO pays all the costs of working in there right away. So Gordon Little people are also getting a good deal out of this, so.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further from council. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the engineer's report for the Allen McCollum Drain and Gordon Little Drain and instructs the clerk to notify everyone required to be notified under Section 41 of the Drainage Act of its intention to proceed with this drain, and will hold a meeting to consider the report at their council meeting scheduled for June 14th, 2023 at approximately 5:15 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. And we're down to F, the David Carroll Drain, Section 78, appoint the engineer. Is there anything you want to speak to on that, Brent?
No.
Okay, everybody's seen the report? Any questions? Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, having received confirmation from the Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority that the Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority does not require an environmental appraisal under Section 6(1) of the Drainage Act, this council now appoints Spreet Associates to prepare the necessary reports for the David Carroll Drain. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Your work is done, Brent. Okay, we are on to planning. I know there's some people been patient here, and we're going to deal with that right away. So under the planning department, and I don't know whether Planner Tracy, okay, she was going to try, but where she is, there's probably no internet. Okay, I'm gonna start off. This is an application for severance E9/23. It was deferred. 8846 Homestead Road and vacant land on the east side of Homestead Road, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, Robert Cole and Crystal Lukings, and they are present. And the other gentleman? Okay. Now, we had this before us on April 12th, and Land Division has kicked it back to us. They had it on their schedule, didn't deal with it. So I'm hoping everyone had an opportunity to get their questions asked of Planner Tracy, and we'd be able to move forward at this time or at this meeting. Does council have any comments to make? You have to be Mayor Loveland.
Thank you. I guess I was one of the most vocal people who had some concerns about that, and I still have some concerns. I think though, a couple things that, maybe a couple more conditions or changes in the conditions that may help relieve some of my concerns. The first one is, I know our planner has done a title search and thinks it has come back that it is two separate properties, even though they are owned by the same people. I think if we add a condition to the recommendation that the applicant's lawyer provides us her written opinion that they haven't been amalgamated in the past, I think that would resolve some of those issues. The other thing I'm a bit concerned about yet is we really haven't dealt with water. We're moving this lot from an area that, even though it's low down by the Talbot Creek, it's on a municipal water line. I don't think we treated it when that line went in as two separate properties. Not sure, we never went back and checked, but we're moving it up to really high clay ground that where there's no water line. So I think we need to address that. We also need to address access. So I would be a little more comfortable if under the zoning, we change that back to the zoning so that it goes to the same zoning as on the current piece. So it has a holding provision until such time as we can, as the applicant can provide us information on access, water supply, those sorts of things. I just don't think it's wise to create a lot out there really without dealing with water. That's a big issue for me.
Are you referring to potable water? There was some comments from our water manager, and I'm not sure how far it goes there. Can anybody answer that?
I think according to Tim's letter, it's 800 meters to from that property to where the line ends. It could actually get water from 3 different directions. It could come down from Iona, but that's down the hill, probably pretty expensive. It can come up north from Aaron Line, or it can come down Homestead. So there's either way would get you water. I'm not sure what the water manager would say about one house on a existing 800-meter line, but something that needs to be addressed.
Is it a prerequisite to building a home in Dutton Dunwich? They have to, I mean, still have some on wells.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be municipal water, but they have to provide us with information that they have adequate potable water supply on the property. But I just, my knowledge of those high clay knolls like that, there's not usually much groundwater there. It would have to be a deep well or municipal water, and either one of those would be not that cheap.
Councillor Goulart.
Yeah, I actually also had the water on my list. But in speaking with the water manager, he said that to dig a well there may have to be a comment from Lower Thames because of the area. So that may be something else that may have to be cleared up.
Yes, go ahead. Just identify yourself again, please. And come on right up here and.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. So Mayor, members of council, thank you for having me. I'm Manish Padar. I'm the planner for the file. I'm with Strickball and Early Moniz. In the review of the file that Tracy did, the Conservation Authority made it explicit that any development would be subject to their requirements. And of course, if we are doing a private septic or well, that would also be subject to the building code. So we do recognize that any potential development in the future would be mandated to meet those 2 sets of requirements.
Okay, so you've already made them considerations. I'm just searching through here. There were some conditions that Planner Tracy put on there.
Yeah.
Is there any additions to those conditions that council wishes to put at this time? Councillor Loveland.
I would like to add again that I would like a legal opinion from the applicant solicitor that the properties are separate and file that with us, so we have it. And I also would like the zoning to go back to the holding provision that's on the property now. That could be removed once we've got access issues, water issues, and everything resolved. It just gives us a bit of control over what happens there.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. In terms of the additional conditions, it was mentioned by Paul Clark that the engineering for the county would not want direct access on Iona Road. The property owners have no issue with that at all. We know there's a big difference in grade. We're not looking to create an access to Iona. We can certainly get our lawyers, just through the taxation records alone, separate taxes are collected on each parcel. We have no problem verifying that. So just as a point of clarification, through you, Mayor, to Deputy Mayor Loveland, just to be clear, so outside of the conditions that Tracy has presented, outside of acknowledging that we will provide the documentation showing there are 2 separate parcels and the documentation agreeing to no access on Iona Road, what other condition would you like fulfilled?
What I and I'll maybe explain that first condition about the lawyer. You could have the Planning Act requires that if, and you probably know this just as well as I do, if you have 2 properties that are in the same name and they touch, basically they do become one. I'm not sure if that's the case here or not. So what I'm really asking is for your lawyer to say, yes, these properties have not amalgamated and give her legal opinion. The other thing I was asking for was to put a holding provision on the property, just like it's already on the other piece. And that would mean once the water issue is resolved, at the entrance issues are resolved, council would remove the holding provision. It's something we use quite common on some of these lots that are not quite ready for development yet.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So to council through you, Mayor, in terms of, again, in terms of providing documentation from the lawyers, we have no issue. We can provide that up front before it goes to the Elgin Land Division Committee. With respect to the water, that would sort of, I appreciate the request, but I think it would automatically be dealt with through the Ontario Building Code, because as you know, if you're doing septic or well on a lot, you have to meet those requirements. So I think in terms of providing a holding provision, it doesn't provide any further security than what you'd already have, if that makes sense. Thank you.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. And again, it's a common practice here. It's on the other property already. Basically, council would remove that holding provision. I don't think it even requires a public meeting. If not, I know there's no appeals. But once we know what's going on with water, I mean, I guess my concern is the lot gets created, it gets sold, somebody buys it, and they come to build on it, and there is no water available. That puts us into a bad light. So I think that's the right way to handle this, is to at least put a holding provision on. Once the access has been granted, drainage has been done, plans have done, and we're deciding how we're dealing with water. I don't think, Corey can correct me if I'm wrong, if the building code really requires that much work to be on potable water.
Sir Pemberton.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. So the Building Code Act requires potable water, but that's not until at the point in time when a building permit is applied for. So I would agree with Deputy Mayor Loveland on this. It would be nice to have some reassurances that potable water is available in one way, shape, or form, whether it be through a well, through whatever, that there is that availability there. The building code wouldn't alleviate that until a permit has been issued, and realistically, a permit would be issued and you would just be required that prior to occupancy. So somebody could start to build and all of a sudden realize we don't have a well and we have to put municipal water in at our own cost and what that cost is. So I think just the understanding, and I think the holding provision is a good idea, that it's easy to remove the holding provision on that parcel as soon as those couple conditions are cleared up. Something as simple as a road occupancy permit has been established and you've proven that potable water is attainable. The holding provision could be removed at that time, and it's a fairly simple provision. And I think with that, with those two other conditions added and the holding symbol, I could support this.
If you would like to consult, you've been patient and we're going to be patient with you. Council would like this resolved at this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. I did an over-the-shoulder check with the Lukings, and they're amenable to the holding provision.
Okay, Councilor
Just
Dreyfus.
one question, though. I'm a little bit confused here, Deputy Mayor Loveland. So we have a existing parcel of land that has a lot line that is actually intrusive on buildings already, and it just makes sense to resolve this. And this is a very prudent way of dealing with an issue that could become a problem if they decide to or choose to build something on this property in the future. So my question is, you have an existing parcel of land and they're looking at it and creating another lot or a lot, and the retained portion would assume the existing lot into one severance package. So I'm not sure why we need a condition or proof of amalgamation of a lot when this will all happen through the land division through the conditions that have been established. So the criteria is set forth by the planner to form the lot, retain the existing lot into the existing parcel of land, and you've solved an issue that happens throughout the whole municipality. So I guess that's my question. I don't have a problem with the condition of the water. But I guess my question would be to the owner of the property, was your intent to hook into the municipal water? That would be something that I would like to know. Were you planning to dig a well, or are you planning to build, or what's your plan?
So, wanna answer that directly, or? I could.
Yeah.
So, the Lukings simply want to maintain what they have, obviously get rid of that discrepancy with the property line.
Okay.
So they wouldn't be looking for any expansion of infrastructure or services.
So there's no future plans at this point in time.
Not at this point in time.
Okay.
I just maybe explain to Henry, and the planner can correct me if I'm wrong. There is a section in the Planning Act that says if you have two properties that are in the same name and touch, they use a lot more different words than that, but that's the simple meaning, I think. And all I'm saying is, if these properties have already amalgamated, it's a moot point. We really can't create the other lot because the amalgamation has already happened. So what I'm asking is for their lawyer to give us that information. Lots of times you'll do a title search and you'll see, yes, there's two properties, two deeds, two tax bills even, but there's still been amalgamated. Or the other way around, you'll see sometimes one tax bill, one deed, but they're two pieces of property if they've been divided by decision of land division committee. So all I want to do is make sure that that hasn't already happened. If it has, then it kind of makes us a mute application. So.
Agreed. Thank you.
Okay. I think we're close to making a decision here. Unless there's anything further, anything you'd like to add? You've been patient, and it's our responsibility to put conditions in to protect Dutton Dunwich. The decision makers are land division at the county level, which we have representation in Ian Fleck. So if there's nothing further, I'm going to call the question. Clerk Tara.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Droulard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner titled Application for Severance E9/23 Deferred 8846 Homestead Road and Vacant Land on the east side of Homestead Road, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, Robert Cole and Crystal Lukings, dated May 10th, 2023 for information, and that Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich recommends approval to the Land Division Committee of the County of Elgin for proposed severance application E9/23 for 8846 Homestead Road and vacant land on the east side of Homestead Road, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, provided the following conditions are included. That a zoning bylaw amendment is in force and effect for the severed and retained parcels. That septic system review for the severed parcel has been completed. That the location of the buildings located at 8808 Homestead be confirmed by an Ontario land surveyor to the satisfaction of the chief building official. That a mutual drainage agreement under section 2 or 4 of the Drainage Act has been provided to provide a legal drainage outlet for the newly created residential lot. That 2 hard copies and 1 digital copy of the registered survey have been provided to the municipality. That taxes are to be paid in full. That all Dutton Dunwich planning application fees set out in the fees bylaw be paid to the municipality. That a 911 sign be established for the severed and retained parcels. That all barns capable of holding livestock or are in disrepair on both the retained and severed lands be removed or decommissioned to the satisfaction of the chief building official. That lots merge on title. That the solicitor provides an undertaking that a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once the transaction has occurred, will be provided to the municipality, that the applicant's lawyer provide a legal opinion to the municipality that the property was not amalgamated previously, and that the zoning be put into a holding provision until further development detail is provided. All in favor?
Can I have one quick comment before
Okay.
we vote? I think number 9 about the barns capable of holding livestock should be removed, because in this particular case, they have some barns there, and we're not gonna ask that they be decommissioned.
So they're not true barns, I'll put it that way. So one is basically where the two agricultural areas within the parcel are for commercial crop farming. So they're used for tractor storage, that sort of thing. And then Crystal does have 2 pet horses that she has. So it's not, again, it's not a barn, it's sort of more of a very small stable. So, you know, if we're amenable to the removal of that, absolutely.
But I don't think it's necessary either.
I don't think it's necessary, that's all I'm saying. I think that's just a common one we put in when we do surplus farmhouses, so
Yeah.
there's no sense making these people tear down a perfectly good building just
Yeah.
to get this out, so.
And certainly the land base is capable of 2 pet horses.
Yes. So
Okay,
we did do thank you, sorry, Mayor. So to trigger the OMAFRA MDS, we'd have to have a significant number more horses. So we're definitely within that comfortable range.
can you amend that resolution, Clerk Terry?
So all of council is in agreement that we remove item number 9 from that list.
Yes.
Would you guys like me to read the whole resolution again? Okay.
I think we're okay.
All right. So all in favor of the amended resolution? And that's carried.
Thank you for your patience. It's off to land division. Okay, thank you, council. That was a tough one and it took some homework. As we've been going for a little over an hour, does anybody need a break? Everybody good?
Want to keep going till closed?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go to Recreation Department, the monthly report. Everyone had a chance to see that. Is there anything council wants to talk about?
I don't know whether, I don't know whether you noticed, but on the front of Elgin County Living was the sculpture of in our park. It didn't say anything about it, but it was the cover page, so I noticed it. And yeah, I just thought I'd bring that to everybody's attention.
Yeah, I did notice that as well, Councilor Drulard. Nothing further? Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the Recreation and Administration titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Correspondence 14A is the Regional Municipality of Waterloo, the protection of privacy for election candidates and donors. Is there anyone want to speak to that? I don't see anything. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Drulard, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich supports the resolution of the Regional Municipality of Waterloo calling on the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing for the province of Ontario to protect the privacy of candidates and donors by removing the requirement for their street name, number, and postal code to be listed on publicly available forms, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Rob Flack, MPP, Karen Vecchio, MP, and the Regional Municipality of Waterloo. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, 14B, Township of the Archipelago Road Management Action on Invasive Phragmites. Any comments on that resolution, please, Clerk Tara?
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Pemberton, that correspondence item 14B from the Township of Archipelago be received and filed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And 14C is Enbridge Gas, their locate charge. They've been backtracking on that one. Any comments or questions from council? There was a lot of pushback on that, obviously. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Loveland, that correspondence item 14C from Enbridge Gas Incorporated be received and filed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And another one.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Dreyfus, that relevant correspondence was reviewed. All in favor? And that's carried.
The consent agenda. Does anyone wish to speak of? We have 3 items there. Comments or questions from council? Seeing none, Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the items on the consent agenda be approved. All in favor? And that's carried.
In front of you, is there any questions? I see none. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the clerk titled Monthly Activity Report, April 2023, dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
We have the CAO Treasurer's Report, or monthly activity report. Now's your chance.
I can. Well, I said to Tara, I feel like I'm not doing anything when I started. Just an update, our co-op student, actually declined the job, so I'm taking on doing the new GLs and timesheet myself. I did not put down the organizational review. That is still on my plate. Tara and I are working on that. I'm also going to be bringing clerk and CEO treasurer job descriptions because they're kind of new. So those will be coming to council soon too. I don't think there's anything else that I
Could you
would add.
speak to the accounting person you had and the reasons?
Well, we were discussing it earlier. She didn't drive and she thought that she could get rides out, but as it turned out, she discussed over the weekend and it wasn't going to work out. So there was 3 of them that we interviewed that they didn't drive. So just unfortunate. It would have been nice if, somebody local was in the finance program and had applied, but we didn't get that lucky. So, and as I said, as it turns out, I'm kind of glad I stuck with doing the GLs myself because I had them mapped out, but as I got going and discussing with staff and stuff, there was things I revamped and added. And and then next will be, I'm going to meet with some staff members from Dutton Dunwich or from North Mid tomorrow because I like their timesheets, but I also need to kind of revamp it. So I need to talk to the person who designed it and get the back end of it. So I'm hoping to meet with them tomorrow. They actually text while I'm in there and they want to know if I was interviewing for the CAO because I said, are you in the office tomorrow? So I'm like, no, I'm not interviewing. But
Councilor Drulard, you had a question?
Will you set the search out again for a student?
I think at this point, I'm just going to go with it for myself. The co-op students, they started May 1st, their co-op, so I'm assuming I missed out on,
I was just hoping that perhaps, somebody that just hadn't,
well,
seen
it's still up.
maybe
yeah.
theirs fell through.
Right. It's still up and Kate hasn't gotten any new ones in. And in fact, the girl that we did pick, she actually got it in late, but she was, her resume was quite good. So at this point, I'm just going to take it on myself and see how far I get. So.
Okay. Anything else from council? Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drulard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the CAO Treasurer titled Monthly Activity Report dated May 10th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
And while we still have you, CAO Tracy, the Military Heroes Reserve Balance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so this is just a report to get council's approval to take the money out of the Military Heroes Reserve and donate it to the Cenotaph Committee. As you know, anything in and out of a reserve has to be have a resolution from council. And I know Jenny's been she likes to stay on top of what the monies go to, and she's quite excited about giving this to the Cenotaph. And I attached her email that I received for that money. So, if there's any questions?
Jenny's happy.
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the CAO Treasurer titled Military Heroes Reserve Balance dated May 10th, 2023 for information, and that the current balance of $733.35 in the Military Heroes Reserve be donated to the Cenotaph Committee and reserve be closed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. 18, unfinished business. None? Is there any new business? I see nothing. Any announcements? Nothing again. I guess the question is, do you want to take a short break or do you want to soldier through? Okay. We're going to take a break.
I was gonna say, if we're going into close, you could stay.
Well, let's, okay. Clerk Tara, we're going to get into closed.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich now moves into a session of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 6:21 PM in accordance with Section 2392 of the Municipal Act, SO 2001, Chapter 25, for discussion of the following matters. A, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, Section 2392E of the Municipal Act, OLT appeal. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, that'll give you an opportunity to lock things down. And is there anything in the kitchen?
Yep.
Okay, bylaw 2023-37 tax rate bylaw. Pretty standard stuff. Everybody had a chance to look at it. Any comments, questions? Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Loveland, that bylaw 2023-37 being a bylaw to establish a levy for the year 2023 to adopt tax rates for 2023 and to provide for penalty and interest in default of payment and the collection thereof be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And that pretty well winds it up. Date for future meetings, we see them there and,
Bylaw,
oh,
confirm proceedings.
Tara.
Moved by
I'm getting it from both
Loveland.
sides here.
I didn't say anything. Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that bylaw 2023-38 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the municipal council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And our future meetings, we see them there. And I just wanted to mention again, if possible, the summer meetings. Give some thought to
I
that.
can do, I know for sure I can do 4 o'clock, but that's the best I can guarantee.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that works.
That helps.
It gives us a bit of our evening back and we can get out of here. And like I said, it'd be a bit hard too, if we had anything closed, we'd have to wait for staff to come before they're doing things.
I'm sure you for everything go half an hour.
Yeah, I just want to, I know that you wanted the asset management plan to come for the next meeting, but I think what I'll do is for the May 24th, because I have Watson coming to do a DC workshop, And I'll do the wastewater treatment plant on the 24th and then maybe the asset management in
I
June.
was just trying.
Yeah, no, but I didn't want to get them all in on one, but yeah. So I'll just say that.
Before we close, though, one quick question, water plant killer, well, it's Friday. Yes, no? We get a time or anything?
I actually received anything.
Yeah.
I
I'm going.
I said I was going, but I didn't get anything back. I think you can go whenever you want, right?
11 till.
I think you were supposed to get it, so let them know when.
Oh, I just sent my RSVP that I was coming and I got a thank you, but I.
I got an RSVP, I sent the RSVP.
Yeah. I'll check my email, but I,
think it goes from 11 until 4 or 3, I can't
okay,
remember.
yeah. I was just gonna slip out and come back, like, who have a hook and, yeah,
We did my show together. so.
yeah,
So there's no set time to,
I guess not.
So it goes from 11 AM till 3.
Okay, so we can go whenever you wanna drive out, cause I'll be at work, so if you're going.
okay, I've got it in my planner, but
Yeah,
I'm kind of up in the air right now.
I didn't send mine in yet. so I got it. I'm busy this week.
Okay, so when we post for the summer meetings, Clerk Tara, we will post for 4 o'clock.
yes.
You'll need to know that. There's nothing further?
It's just the two of them, it's just one.
Clerk Tara, the one we've been waiting for.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drulard, that the meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich closes at 6:50 PM. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you, and it is 6:49. If you drive real fast, you can get the national anthem.
Find out somebody's gonna give you a ride home.
Yep.
You're walking, you're gonna miss the first two periods.